What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. This is Iconic Repaints, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a kit that I was just commissioned to do. It's my most recent work. It's the Kaiyodo 1962 Godzilla from King Kong vs. Godzilla. Sorry about that. It's 45 centimeters tall, which I really suck at metrics, but I believe that's about 15 inches. He's big. He's really thick. That's one thing about this suit. He's always been a really thick design. And part of that is intentional, because King Kong vs. Godzilla was supposed to be all about these two monsters fighting, and it's a lot of wrestling around. So they kind of wanted the monsters to kind of have like this very sumo wrestler like build, especially Godzilla. And that's kind of like how the movie was advertised leading up to it. Mind you, you didn't have the internet. Things weren't hyped up like they are today. There was no trailer breaking 100 million views like the new Godzilla vs. Kong just did. So they had to hype it up kind of like a real fight. And they had interviews with the monsters behind the scenes, and it was all kind of like leading up to this little publicity. And back then, this was only Godzilla's third movie, and he was so villainous in his first two that I think pretty much everybody used to root for King Kong back in the day. He was the more famous monster. He's been around for 20 years longer than Godzilla, and he was more sympathetic because everybody feels bad for King Kong. He got taken off his island against his will. He really wasn't trying to bring harm to anybody, but that's just the famous story. And so Godzilla doesn't really have any of that, because Godzilla is pretty much vengeance and rage personified. So he is kind of like mankind's karma coming back and purposefully trying to just destroy all of us, one city at a time. So at this point, Godzilla was still the villain, but they did kind of change his look a little bit. He looks more reptilian, as you'll see in this sculpt. It doesn't reflect his more demonic look in the two, like he had in two previous films. I mean, he doesn't have like the crazy bug eyes, the pointy demon ears, the fangs. He doesn't have like, the more aggressive looking claw on his feet like he had the fourth toe. So this one, he definitely looks more animalistic, which I can't really. It's been a while since I watched the Japanese version of this movie, but the American version of this movie, which I know the Japanese version didn't do, but the American version of the movie made him out to be so stupid. Like, they literally held up a marble and said, "This is the size of Godzilla's brain." Totally made that up. That's just the American audiences trying to, I guess, make King Kong more likable, or Godzilla just less likable. Not sure, but anyway, the sculpt and it's sculpted by Yuji Sakai, who I always praise about in my videos, and he really does capture the nuance of all the little reptilian features that really make this design stand out the way it does. It's a very controversial design. People either love this design or hate this design. And it's funny because even with this sculpt, as any good 1962 sculpt, you'll have angles where it looks really goofy. You'll have angles where it looks really menacing. And I'll get back to that in a second. So this is also nicknamed the Big Twist, supposedly, and I just found this out. This is the kit that kind of helped marry the relationship between Kaiyodo and Yuji Sakai doing their sculpts. So I guess this is the first one he did. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that's what I heard. And you see, just when it came to me, this was actually already sort of pre-assembled. It just wasn't pre-assembled in the cleanest of ways, and it still had a lot of work to do. So I had to. Some of the spines were put on already. The main body was pretty much already assembled, and the eyes were painted. The teeth were painted. The teeth were painted really well. I didn't even touch the teeth. The teeth, someone else did that. I gotta give them credit. The teeth came out really cool, and but I did redo the gums. I did the eyes over after I primed everything. Of course, I did the spines over, and I did have to do a lot of seam work on him, because this vinyl, it's hollow vinyl, so it doesn't really, when you kind of cut out these pieces and put them onto the body, they don't really line up the way they should. It's not like it's made out of clean cut polystone or resin. There's a lot of extra overlay, and so you need to definitely clean it up to make it a clean fit. And So that took most of my time, and then once you clean it up, you got to sculpt the clay to match the texture of the skin, or no matter what paint you slap over it, it's still going to look like, you know, you filled in the seam. So that's where the nuance comes in. And other than that, I know the paint job with Godzilla in the movie, he should be his traditional charcoal black color, but the client of mine did give me 2 options to work with, and I thought the green would be a really nice touch. Plus, it looks like the poster version color palette that he has in all the promotional material. And you know, I'm really kind of happy the way this came out. It being a 1962 suit, you're obviously not going to have like the finer details that like the new 2021 Godzilla would have, but I think it's a really good replication, like the nails and the claws, the teeth, the eyes. It really captures that very dimensional suit look to him. And you know, so another thing I wanted to do, and this goes back to what I was saying about either looking silly or menacing. So the jaw is on this kit, it's supposed to be the mouth wide open, which he has like a very toad-like mouth. It's just really wide and round, so it's almost like a Muppet. So if Godzilla is like looking at you directly from the front, he looks really silly and goofy. So what I did is I wanted the jaw to be almost closed, so it looks a lot meaner, a lot more menacing. And then with the empty space, I filled that in with more epoxy clay and sculpted it to blend in. Obviously primed everything all at once and started painting everything, and there's different shades of everything. There's olive green, there's browns, there's grays thrown in, and I think it really makes a neat looking kit. Really happy to kind of get this off to my client. This is a wonderful client. He's one of my favorite people, and I could say with satisfaction and no ego that this is probably one of my best kits that I've put together. So I'm happy it's going to him. He deserves it. He's a great customer and just overall wonderful human being. So anyway, that's going to be the end of this. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. I got, as always, more material coming for you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.